lige se der, Jacob. Hi there everyone, and welcome to another fly tying video here from Nordic Anglers. Today we're gonna do one of the really old school classics. This is an old school classic for pike. It's one of the most durable and well fishing patterns, and this is as well as it was 25 years ago. This is originally designed by a Danish guy called Morten Valeur, who is one of the pioneers when it comes to pike fly fishing, and he did this pattern a long time ago. This is tied slightly differently from his. He has a hackle of flesh at the back of this fly as well. I optimized this and made it a bit more simple because it fishes as well, I think, in my book. So this is basically a very simple but highly effective pike fly. It's very easy to cast because it consists of nothing but this soft flesh, which is the best flesh for pike out there, because it's very slick and it's very slippery, so the pike's teeth do not get caught up in this. So it's durable. It's really easy to cast even on a 7-weight, depending on, of course, of how big you make it, and if you change this for tungsten, for instance, or you use brass, that makes a bit of a difference, but not that much. It's, as I said, easy to cast, and it fishes just extremely well. And as you can see, it can catch some quite big fish also. I knew I was going pike fly fishing last week, so I tied up a few of these, and just now we have a bundle product where you get 10 different colors of the soft flesh for pike for around, I think it's around 14 euros. These are all great colors, and once you have, seen this video and tied one of these, you can variate this in as many different colors as you like. In particular, if you buy one of these packages with the 10 packs of flesh here, you can just you can go really crazy and make some pink ones or some silver ones or green and blue and stuff like that. The base here is and what I'm going to show you in this video is how to tie how to tie the style of fly, and you can of course make this into your own pattern and design it exactly the way you want. As I said, there's a lot of flesh here in a kit like this, so you have no excuse anymore. Get into pike fly fishing because it's fun. The pikes are big, and it's just amazing to see. A lot of the time it's also very visual fishing because a fly like this is fairly easy to see in the water. So a lot of the times you actually see the pike come and strike your fly. So did I with this big one. It just looks so amazing. It was maybe 7 meters away from me, and I was just stripping the fly really slowly, and then woof, out of the blue came this fairly large fish and grabbed my fly. So now we're gonna tie probably the easiest the easiest to tie and easiest to cast of all pike flies, and it's really an effective pike fly as well. So here goes. Now we're gonna tie Morten Valeur's Flesh Pike Streamer. So here goes the Flesh Pike Streamer in brown and holographic gold. The first thing we do is to make a sound and good bulge of tying thread down here, to ensure we have something for the flesh, because it's very slippery and it's very slippery. So to make sure that this has a good base, we just apply some tying thread. With that being done, we take a bundle of both gold. For this one, I mean, you can of course vary this as much as you want. The soft flesh is not that expensive, and there are about 25 different colors, so the possibilities are endless, and you can even mix. I mean, some of these I have 3 and 4 different types and colors of flesh in there. But this one, the one that I got this really nice fish on, was this brown and gold one. So basically, I take the gold and then I take some of the brown here. See, this has been used for quite a few flies. There are many flies in a pack of soft flesh. And what I do is I put these on top of one another, and then I try to mix them as much as possible. So we will get a mixture of the two colors here into one another. Basically, just move it around, just mangle it a bit, so we get them in between one another and kind of mixed up. It's not really important, but as you can see now, it's mixed a lot more than it was if you just added the two different colors just on top of one another. So basically just move it between your fingers like this, and make sure when you gather it back up again, you do it differently. There we go. Now, what we want is we want this fly to taper. So basically I take some of the fibers here and then I pull them out so they're slightly longer than the rest. So it's not, you know, just a completely, we want this to taper, to be different, so it moves a lot differently, not just be completely cut straight off. That will not look very good, neither in the box nor in the water. And, well, basically there we have it. Just gonna pull some of it a little longer like this. And this is basically the tail. So you can of course decide how long you want this, but it's important to have something that sticks out in the other end as well, because we're going to tie this down double, both to make the fly more durable, but also to ensure it has this tapering. So I'm just going to tie this on top, apply a lot of pressure, because you want this to be as durable as possible. You want this to last for maybe 10 pikes or 15 even, and the way to do that is to really apply some pressure on the tying thread, and of course to also do what we're doing now, which is tie it down double. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to turn this over. You can use the bead to do that. This is a brass bead in 5.5 millimeters in fluorescent orange, and nice. I have these beads in a lot of different colors. In the big size here that fits on the PR 551, the barbless pike hook from Erics, which I actually helped design. So I know it is the right hook, and this is the best pike hook I have ever tried. It hooks absolutely amazingly, and it's available in both 2.0, 4.0, and 6.0, and the one I use the most is the 6.0. So basically you can see the nice taper on the tail here, and that's basically done. So what you want to do is you want to make a whip finish on top of this. And in the ideal world, and I would urge you to do that, is basically if you want to tie some of these, then tie a lot in a row. So you do this step, then you apply sabagap, and then you take the next hook and do the same one more time and sabagap, because then when you have 4 or 5 flies, the sabagap will have dried up, and you are sure that when you make the last step on the fly here, that your actual hackle of flesh up here will not be interfering with or be caught up in the sabagap. So I'm not going to do that, but of course apply sabagap to this one, but for this video I'm not going to do that. So it will just have to last a little for a little less pikes. Then I take my tying thread and I take about maybe 8 millimeters or so of the hook up to the bead that I cover in tying thread, again to make a sound and good base of this is really annoying that this keeps getting loose, of tying thread, so you have something that is sound and sturdy for when you're doing the flesh hackle. Then you pull out, so you have maybe 12 or 15 centimeters of dubbing loop. And then you move your tying thread all the way up to the bead. Then you push the tying thread off to the side, and you take 2 more bundles, roughly the same size as before. Again, you can make this as bulgy as you want, or as slim as you want. Of course, the more materials you add on here, the heavier it's going to be in the air to cast. But the bulgier, maybe you want something really bulgy, and then you can basically do that. And then I'm going to take another bundle here of the brown soft flesh. Again, I'm going to put these two on top of one another, hold them together, and then I'm going to try to mix them as much as possible. I like when it's a bit dark, this fly, so I try to mix it so the gold is in the middle, but it's not that important. It's going to be mixed a lot also when you actually when you make the dubbing loop and you make the hackle from this. But basically, again, spread it out, fold it over, mix it up a bit, fold it over, spread it out, make it go in between one another. There we go, I think, yeah. You see how it's mixed up? I think that's about right. And then I do exactly the same thing as we did before. I pull some of these out so they're slightly longer, so they're not completely uniform in length. Here it's not as important because the hackle here is going to be 2 different lengths anyway. But basically you see how that looks. And the movement of this flesh in the water is just amazing. So I put it inside the dubbing loop, and then one of these lengths has to be longer than the other one. So I have about this length here, and whoa, some of it is falling out. That's not ideal. Basically like this. This takes a little getting used to and a little practice to do this. But make sure that your flesh don't fall out. Like so. So with one finger I keep the loop closed, and then I basically just adjust it and filter it, not filter it out, and stretch it out so it's covering maybe 6, 7, 8 centimeters of the loop here. Then I take my dubbing loop and I spin this one. And the Smain one that I'm using here is absolutely amazing for this. And then basically I help it a little with my fingers here to get it all the way, turning all the way around. And then you'll have something that look kind of erratic and kind of crazy. But that is the idea here. Sometimes, that's also why I use a very heavy tying thread. This is a 200 denier, but 100 denier GSP thread as well is very usable. It's just important to have something that is very strong, in particular for this part, and to make sure that nothing goes wrong. Then I sometimes take my hackle plier and use that to keep the loop closed here. Then I take my dubbing needle and gently pull out all the fibers that are caught, because we don't want all this. We want as many of the fibers as possible to be out of the dubbing loop. And we don't want the center of the dubbing loop to be this really messy, really bulgy, really big thing. We want the fibers to be a nice hackle. So we want all of them to be, of course, interlaced and caught up in between the tying thread, but we also want it to stick out as much as possible. This was actually a really, really good dubbing loop, Thomas.
Nice.
It was better than the first one.
Yeah.
But of course, if you tie 10 of these, the last one is going to be better than the first one. And it might take some practice, and sometimes it will happen that you lose all the flesh. It's just going to fall out because you didn't pay attention or whatever. So it takes a bit of practice. But I mean, the flesh here is as I said, very inexpensive. So trial and error. And I take a lot of saliva to force the flesh to be downwards here. So it's and because of this flesh here, it takes a bit of saliva to do this. But as you can see, it's way easier for me to actually turn my hackle now. And then basically I just start turning. This way you get the front of the fly, because it's inside this dubbing loop. It will be it will have a bigger and broader profile. It will be standing more out in the water column, and it will look absolutely amazing and give the fly more bulk. If you want to add even more bulk, you could also basically add some bucktail to this beforehand. I've done that on some flies, but it works really, really well when it's just the flesh as well. So you might just do it like this, and it's also very, very easy just to do it with the flesh. Fold everything back, turn everything back, turn. Oh, there are some strands there that are caught up in between. We can fix that later. Hold everything back and turn all the way up to the bead. Hold it back and turn. And that is the last turn of the dubbing loop. There we go. I'm going to tie down the dubbing loop here with the tying thread. And because of the bead, all of this up here is going to be covered by the bead. So you'll have a really strong and durable fly because the pike teeth will never get to your tying point. And also because the soft flesh here is very, very smooth, it's very, very slick, then it does not get caught up in the pike's teeth as well. If you really want to make this even more strong, you can apply some sabagap to the tying thread, and then make some turns before you make the whip finish. That will make it even more durable, but it's not something that I normally do, but it's something you can do to make it even more durable. Then basically I just take my needle here and see if I have any strands of dubbing that are caught up in here that are not straight back. But I think actually this actually worked out perfectly. So there we go. The Flesh Pike Streamer in brown and holographic gold. A nice color combination that can find you some really big pike. So there you have it, the Flesh Pike Streamer. This one is in brown and gold, but as I said, you can vary this in whatever colors you like. For your particular water, you can make something in pink, for instance, for really murky water. And if you want a more stealthy one, you can basically tie one in brown and silver and brown or black or whatever. As I said, it's an effective fly. It's easy to cast, easy to fish, and the way to tie this is a base model. You can of course do as many different variations as you want, and with the soft flesh in all these different colors, there are more than 25 different colors on sale. We have this package with 10 different colors for I think around 10 euros. You're good to go, and there is no more any excuse for starting tying pike flies and for fishing pike flies. It's fun fishing. It's great. They grow really big, and it's one of the types of fishing that I enjoy and like the most. So, well, as always, you can find the full material kit for this fly and all the other flies here on this YouTube channel at Nordic Anglers. That is the web shop that I run. And well, basically, if you haven't fished for pike yet, I would encourage you to do so. It is so much fun. And if you fish for a pike, then go get some of this really cheap, great flesh, because you will know that this is the right stuff anyway. So thank you a lot for watching, and as always, good luck out on the water.